Hello, big people, small people, boys and girls all over the world. My name is TB Weez, and today I have a very special guest appearing on whatever you would really call this. I don't know if you would consider it a podcast or what you would really call it, but we have a special guest. Please say hello to Kyle Williams.
Hello.
And today we have a very special topic, just giving the time and everything. We are here to discuss our music, our band, because we have just released a new album that will actually be officially releasing tomorrow, which would be June 17th of 2023. Will be appearing on a lot of different streaming services such as Spotify and Apple, and you can just look around on. And we'll probably, whenever we get the news as to the um, official services that will actually be included in that, we will provide a list and links and all that stuff that you can find in the description whenever uh, that is uh, found out and done and over with. But anyways, enough about the new album because that's not the only thing we're going to be talking about. It's the idea of our band and just music in general, just all these different things. So, Kyle, why don't you why don't you give us a breakdown of what Nerves of the Betrayed is?
Well, uh, Nervous to Betray it's obviously it's the name of our band, and it's something that we've tried to do and try to get going for a number of years now, and it hasn't really worked out for us for a while, and we're just now starting to get to the point where it's actually starting to kind of become what we want it to be. But it has been quite a struggle for us to get to where we are now. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely interesting to see where things have gone, how we've got here. And you can learn more about that in the documentary we should be releasing pretty soon as well. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, we did go through a short little documentary. It's nothing super official, but it basically it gives the audience a brief history of our band and through the different stages that we've gone through, and now here we are with as a newly formed band, with our first um, album as a new band and everything. It's very interesting to see how we have evolved so much over the years, ever since the Blood Brothers days, which is such an it's such an interesting view on our whole our history as a whole. Um, it's all very fascinating because like we had no idea what we're doing. And honestly, in a few years from now, we may still look back and be like, yeah, we still didn't know what we were doing. uh, um, but we are just kind of growing and evolving and learning things as we go, and it's very interesting, just as a band. And um, yeah, it's like just thinking back and everything. Um, you know, uh, what do you think? what do you think would be something you could go back and like tell yourself like many years ago, like back in 2016?
Huh. Um, I don't know. Uh, no, I don't know what I tell myself. What do you think you tell yourself back then?
Well, honestly, I think I'd like to tell myself, like don't don't rush things, and also, just don't be so discouraged, and don't worry about what other people have to say and what other bands are doing, because like I think that was one of the biggest things, like starting out, was I mean, several different things. For one, like I had like a lot. It's fine for bands to have inspiration. I mean, every band has inspiration from other artists and stuff, but it's one thing to have inspiration and then just trying too hard to replicate that. Like, um, I think one of the biggest things was like my um just eventually listening to more bands like Avenged Sevenfold, kind of getting into a little bit of, metalcore and stuff like that. Um, was just the vocal style that M Shadows had for quite a long time, and still has now to a certain extent, but not nearly as much as he used to. Um, which was that kind of almost nasally sort of vocal style, kind of almost like Axl Rose, but I wanted to like replicate that style, and I didn't sound like myself, and it didn't sound right, and you could tell I was trying way too hard instead of just trying to find my own voice, which was a real struggle. And I don't think until like um maybe I don't think it was until like senior year 2017 that I started to actually find my voice. And at this point, the album Vicious was already almost done at that point. So it was like a lot of the other songs that we had already recorded. It was like you can hear, when you go back to Vicious, you can hear this evolution um, through the entire uh, track list. Just going from Baby Don't Cry to um, crap, I can't even remember the name of the last song on there. Um,
Wouldn't it have been We Will Stand? Wouldn't that have been the last one?
no, 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 no. It was something else.
Was it?
Because We Will Stand was like right in the middle of the soundtrack, I believe. Um, but I think it ended. I don't know. It was some other song. It was a little bit longer. Um, but I just remember like, starting with Baby Don't Cry, and it was like just extremely nasally, and then eventually slowly leaning away from that and finding my own voice, and then really embracing that part, um, you know, towards the end of it, and I could still hear a lot of flaws, even when it comes to the later part, when it comes to my own vocal style and everything. But there were also, um, I just remember there were a lot of people who, doubted me and everything, doubted the band and everything. It was just, um, and it was a real struggle, and it made me very self conscious at times. But I am glad that for the most part, I just tried to continue onwards and just to ignore everybody else. And but I
The
will.
last song, the last song on the album was "Why Are You So Blind."
That's what it was. Yes, yes. Why are you so blind? That's what it was. But I remember also. I remember like really just wanting to rush to make an album and everything, and had this expectation that it was just going to like really take off. And unfortunately, in the real world, especially, uh, like uh, now to today, it just it doesn't work that way. And um, it was something that for those people who did support us, they bought our album and everything, and that was great. And I really appreciated their support, and um, it did feel very it felt very satisfying knowing that we did have some people who genuinely did support us. But I just remember just pressuring myself too much. And really, I should have just been trying to just record the ideas for the music and wait until we had actual um, recording equipment and stuff, the proper stuff to use. Um, but I was just focusing on rushing. But if I could go back, I think those few things, just don't rush, don't listen to what other people say, don't try to mimic another band's style in any way, uh, because you feel like you need to be greater. Just be you, just do what you're doing and just enjoy it, basically.
Yeah, I think that's about the same thing I would do. Just I think I would, say, just to, uh, just to slow down, take your time, learn your instruments, learn your stuff and everything. Don't just jump head first into things like we tried to do immediately, trying to jump right into doing a fucking talent show.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what do you think that just the band as a whole, or honestly, maybe even this is actually a pretty good one, but like obviously the band has gone through different phases and everything. So what do you think that the band would have meant in each era, from the Blood Brothers era to the kind of Nameless era, where it was kind of just me on just doing it solo and everything, and then um, now Nerves of the Betrayed. What do you think it would have? What do you think it means in each era?
In each era,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, uh, that's kind of tough. I think. Let's see. God, I don't know. That's so tougher than I thought it'd be. Huh? What does the Blood Brothers? What would that mean? Uh, Jesus Christ, I don't know.
What do you think it would have meant to you back then? Or I guess I suppose I can just tell you what I thought it would have meant to me back then. Um, to me, the Blood Brothers was, at the time, it was supposed to be this symbol of friendship among us as a band. You know, obviously, like for a while there was supposed to be four of us, um, and the other two just kind of drifted off, and so um, we still went under the name Blood Brothers um, during the release of the 2017 Vicious album. Um, but I think honestly, the Blood Brothers, then it was just the the loyalty to just us two. Like, we were the only ones who were being true to what the band actually meant, and um it just kind of fell apart at that point. We just enjoyed making music, but it was just us at that point. And then we get into the Nameless era, and you know, at that point it was really hard because like we weren't able to meet up to do a lot of recordings and stuff like we used to be able to, and it was a really tough period, and so eventually it was, we just had to make the tough decision that we just were going to put the whole band thing on halt for a little while, and then I continued with solo stuff, um, with the occasional help from you,
Yeah.
which was still very much appreciated. Like, you still came around to help from time to time with
Hmm.
music, um, even though I was in this sort of solo artist era almost. It was different at the time, and I went under the name Blade because um, I thought it sounded nice, but I could imagine, like, looking back now, I don't know if I could use that. I don't know if I could use that name anymore, just because, like, I feel like there's a lot of confusion with the Marvel character and everything, which was never
Uh-huh.
that was never the intention. I was just like, a lot of people don't realize this, but like that's my middle name, and I feel like there's a lot of people out there who are like, "You're lying. That's not your real middle name." But like,
But it is.
it is actually.
Actually.
Like, I could try and like go and get my birth certificate and everything and like post it online or something. But honestly, I think about that and I'm like, I've got nothing to prove to you people. Plus, honestly, like, what do you think? What do you think is gonna happen? Like, even when it comes to the like comparison, like, the confusion between that and like the Marvel character and everything. It's like, do you really think somebody's gonna, like, I don't know, try to sue me because of the name Blade when it's literally just when the word, just the word blade, could be used for anything? It's not like I use like a full title of something else. It's not like I called myself freaking like Spider-Man or something, you know? Like that would be an obvious like that would be so obvious. Um but it's literally just one word. And yeah, I don't know. It was a weird time, but I definitely think about that time and how much the music had changed. Like even though it still wasn't amazing quality or anything, but it was better. Um, both instrumentally and vocally, it was better than Vicious. Um, but you know, if you were to think about like the uh, the nameless era, the solo era, whatever you want to call it, like what do you think it would have meant to you, and what do you think it would have been like had we been able to um meet up a lot more?
Uh, I think that if we were able to meet up a lot more, we definitely could have done probably a lot. Got a lot more done. Figured this out maybe a little bit sooner than what we're doing now. Maybe have produced an actual official album a little bit earlier. But like that era of the band was to me was kind of I don't how do I want to say this. Uh, for me, I would say it was kind of it was at the point where we were just kind of completely lost and just had no idea where to go, if this would even work. Like, what are we doing? What do we do? Can we even do this? Um, so it was definitely a difficult time. You know, obviously coming right out of high school, not really doing much, not having much money to do anything, not really being able to do much of anything at all. So yeah, it was just kind of like, what do we do now? Can we even do this? Is this going to work? Is it worth doing this anymore? Which is, I guess, kind of a there of a lot of doubt and um, probably some depression and just being feeling completely lost, I suppose.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. It was definitely we were just kind of lost in the fog. Um and I think it was really hard because like we had people here and there who had supported us from the beginning, but it was hard because like, you know, it was hard because like even people who you would have thought were like really close friends, um who like I'm no longer friends with, or I don't see anymore, you know. You would have thought that they would have had your back the entire time and would have supported your decision. Um but not all of them were. And it gets even more disappointing because it's like even some family members, you know, I would share my music with them. I would post music everywhere. I would tell people about it. And some of them just wouldn't go and just like they wouldn't even listen to it. They wouldn't share it to other people. They wouldn't give it any sort of real support. It was just like, "Oh, you're still doing the band thing, huh? That's what you're doing? Oh, what if you went and did this instead? Oh, yada yada yada." Or it be something that's like it's it's not quite it's like you're so close but it's not quite there, It's like, "Oh, you like music, do you? Well, we need we need somebody playing at the church." And it's like, "Huh? I never said yes before. Why do you keep
Uh,
asking 30 times?" Um and it's always been a real struggle cuz it's like everybody's so afraid to just give support. Like, it's not really that hard. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, even if you really think like, oh, that it's not going to go anywhere, oh, it's you're not going to get anywhere with this, you're just going to, it's just going to be a dead end, essentially. It's like, man, even if you think that, you can't even try and just support that person. Like, so what if it doesn't go anywhere? Like, at least we're trying to have fun with it. We're trying to do something that we genuinely enjoy, and we're trying to share it with people, um, and be fully expressive in our music and stuff, and share that with other people. Um, so that, like, if there's anybody who needs to hear that type of music, who may be going through the same type of emotions and stuff, or like when we talk about like society and you know problems with other people, it's like we're trying to like spread awareness and stuff, because some of this stuff, it's important stuff to talk about. And it, it's kind of a little hint to some of those people that, like, you got to wake up. There's a lot of crap that's happening here and there, and it but there was never any sort of support for just us enjoying what we wanted to do. um and again, I mean, I don't mean like that we're getting zero support per se, but it was only like a handful of people who actually cared. Um, and it was very, very difficult. Um, and um, now here we are with Nerves of the Betrayed, and like I feel like we do get um, a little bit of support, um, a little bit more than we did before. Um, but I still think like those same family members, they still just nothing. It's not a whole lot. Um, it's just they they're almost kind of like shrugging their shoulders about it. Like, it's almost like, oh, they're really serious about this. Well, oh well, nothing we can do about it now. Essentially, is what's going on. It's like, but I've reached this point where I'm just like, you know what? I I don't need, like, I don't just need like your support or whatever. It's like I'm just going to try and do my best for me, and um I'm just going to do what I can. uh I want to be able to express myself freely in my music, and I just want to have fun with it, and that's all that should matter at the end of the day. um but now, like with Nerves of the Betrayed, it's become so much more than it was before. But why don't you talk about what Nerves of the Betrayed uh, now means to you?
I think uh, Nerves of the Trade. I think it means what it means to me is it means it's about the I think it's about the friendship that we've had all these years, and the fact that even when we didn't think this was going to work, that we thought that this is the end, that the band is dead, there's no point, that we still stuck together and we still made a comeback and still made things work. I think that just goes to show that no matter what happens, we're always going to be there for each other. We're always going to stick together, and we're going to make this thing happen one way or another.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also important, like, the the struggles we've had to go through along the way, cuz like Nerves of the Betrayed, like, um first off, we I just remember thinking back to, like, um the nerves that were going off um when we performed all those years ago, and simultaneously feeling betrayed by our friends, who by our bandmates who we thought were going to stick with us to the very end and everything. And I just think about that, and it uh even afterwards, like after the friendship completely ended, it was still like uh feeling betrayed. And Nerves of the Betrayed, the name itself, kind of uh is very true to, like, how I kind of feel now, because it's like legitimately, like, nervous, like very wary of being um betrayed once again by somebody uh who's close to you and everything, because it's not a good feeling, and it's something that you want to try and avoid happening again. So you just do that. You try to avoid all this contact, and it's something that I've done for quite a while. I would just avoid everyone, and I think it's something that I find myself doing still. Um, but at the same time, I know that we need band members. I know that we need um, more people to spread awareness of our band and stuff. So it is very hard um, when we need to uh, grow as a band, but it's just hard to kind of let go of those old fears of just being let down again. Um, but like the band itself um, has grown, it's matured, and we're like we're really, 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 really trying to work as hard as we possibly can when it comes to our music, and even when it comes to our latest album, Uncaged. We have I'd say one of the biggest comparisons with I mean, first off, we've got like some legitimately good equipment for the most part. Now, it's not perfect. Obviously, like you get what you can get, to get by and everything. But it's something that um, obviously has like the best quality so far of all our music, and uh, one thing just about the the album as a whole. Uh, like first off, like we released the Cage album, which was just it was a little demo album, um, just to a few people here and there, and posted a few um, videos online and stuff, just to get some feedback and stuff. But then we came back to it and redid all the songs and added some more songs. And what I like the most about this album is like, I think comparatively, when it came to some of our older uh, songs, um, we kind of rushed the process a little bit. Um, every time we listened to any of the recordings, we were just kind of like, "Yeah, sounds good enough. Let's move on." And so it didn't quite reach its full potential at that moment. Um, whereas with this new album, we really, really took the time with every single recording, every track that we did in every song. Uh, we really we listened to it, and we broke it down, and we're like, okay, this could be better. So we go through it again, and yes, it's hard, it's very hard work, but it's what you got to do when you want your music to reach that full potential. And I think our music is at the most full potential that it can be at the moment right now. Obviously, our band still has a long way to go, um, because obviously, like, we don't have anything super professional as far as like equipment and stuff like that. We don't have any of those tools at our disposal right now. But we are doing everything we can with our music at this moment in time, and I think that's what's really important, is we are like really taking it seriously.
Hmm.
Well, how about we can give a brief little talk about the latest album. Um, so our latest album is I think I've said it a few times. We have a new album called Uncaged, and again, it's something that's very important to us. We worked very hard on it. Um, and the theme of this is it's kind of a few themes here and there. Um, but I think the most important theme would be the fact people who are in relationships, and it could be like any kind, but like particularly for us, it was. I mean, especially me personally, like dealing with family who um well, it is kind of just relationships in a whole because different songs apply to different things. Uh, you know, I think we've both dealt with certain things. But Uncaged is simply about how somebody struggles to um, be free of some relationships and stuff, whether that's with family or with friends or whatever the case may be, um, just dealing with people who are very narcissistic. Because I mean, I've dealt with plenty of people, like uh, in my family and friends and stuff who just kind of felt like they were so high and mighty, and you almost feel trapped by it, but the whole point of the album is to be free of it all, just to the struggle to get out of that metaphorical cage that you are put into. Um, and like when it comes to the album art, which will be seen soon, um, we originally took a picture of what was a dog cage because the point of it was it's bad enough for somebody to be put into a cage, but um, it would be even more degrading for somebody to be put into a dog cage. So, and I feel like that's a great metaphor for dealing with those types of relationships in general. Is like these people will degrade you sometimes, and you know they'll expect your love and affection in return, um and they'll try to train you. But it was interesting because you guys will see the album art soon, but we ran it through like an AI generator and mixed it, and it's almost like the cage itself is alive. Like it's not just a normal cage. It's something that is like an animal itself, a monster of some sort. Um, so even though like the door to the cage may be open, the bars may move like teeth and just clamp down on you, trying to prevent you from crawling out. Um, just just to further show like the struggle of getting out of that cage. It's because and it's a perfect metaphor when it comes to some relationships because sometimes it's not that simple to get out of them. Um, but another thing that was important in Uncaged is there's a lot of extremely messed up things that are going on in the world, and we felt the need to further talk about those things. And I think it really fits with Uncaged pretty well because these are all things that it's like it's not just uh somewhere far off, just in a far off land where it's like, oh, it couldn't possibly happen to me, like. And I understand why people feel that way when it comes to some of these situations, like, oh, it couldn't possibly happen to me. But the fact of the matter is, it can, and it does happen to different types of people anywhere and everywhere. Doesn't matter what neighborhood you live in, whether you're rich or poor, what race you are, it can happen to you anywhere. And I think it fits very well with Uncaged because it's like, especially with how it's so hard to get out of the cage, because you almost feel trapped, you know? Um, but and I think that's another thing with like how the door is open, but the bars are coming down to clamp down on you. It's like it's the illusion of freedom until you know the cruel bars come descending upon you. Um, but so I am very very excited uh, for the release of this new album, which will be happening soon. Um,
Tomorrow. It's happening
tomorrow,
tomorrow.
technically right now, because it did just 12. It did just hit 12.
Oh, well. Well, shit, I guess I gotta release the album now. God damn it.
um, but anyways, I think this is probably a good place to leave it here. I'm not really sure what else to really talk about right now at the moment. Um, but yeah, just
Um,
yeah.
I was gonna say, I think at some point we're thinking about maybe doing a video going a little bit more in depth about talking about kind of the meaning behind each of the songs in our album and kind of what the album, going more in depth about what the album means, what each of the songs in the album means.
Oh, definitely, absolutely, yeah. Because I definitely want to give a breakdown to each of the songs, and uh, eventually, like, uh, yeah, because I feel like uh, a lot of these topics they really need to be talked about. I don't care how uncomfortable it may make people, because like at the end of the day, if it truly makes you that uncomfortable, just don't listen, I guess. But at the end of the day, it may make certain people uncomfortable, but you just got to kind of deal with it, because whether you like it or not, these are cold hard facts. um, but just anybody who is excited to hear the new album, it will be released tomorrow. Well, technically today, June 17th of 2023, and we're very excited for it. We hope you guys will find the time to go and purchase it. We will leave links in the description for the many streaming services and other websites that you will be able to find the album on. You will be able to purchase it or stream it from any of these locations. Um, and we just hope that you will listen to our music and give your support. You can also find our Patreon and our GoFundMe page for additional support. We really appreciate it. And that's about all that we have for this episode today. Um, so, Kyle, do you have any final words?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, then that about wraps it up. So, and thank you guys so much for listening. This has been TB Weez and Kyle ALW. And we hope to see you guys in the next episode. I'm out.